Next up, we have Hullbreaker. We are missing the gold cost here. I believe it is 2,800. Should have been written down. So many fighters struggle to convert leads into wins right now, especially through split pushing. Hullbreaker's goal is to give them a strategic purpose where they can opt into a heavy and powerful split pushing strategy at the cost of being isolated from their team. This should allow for the split pusher to take down towers and whoever comes to stop them. It also gives them a way to push through tanks and towers, similar to the old Banner of Command, except they have to stick with the minion to continue barreling down the lane. So Pickaxe Phage. Phage is a regen item. Pickaxe is AD, getting quite a bit of bonus health on the combine. Getting a little bit of AD on the combine as well. It comes with passive health regen. I believe they're actually taking off the Phage regen passive, which is whatever, who cares. Just kind of interesting that it goes away several times, actually. I think the same thing happens with Gore Drinker, where it just converts Phage into health regen and says screw it, which is whatever. I just think it's kind of interesting. And then while no allied champs are nearby, so you can be in a 1v2, but you don't have allies, and gain 20 to 45 armor and MR, and deal 20% increased damage to towers. So a bunch of armor MR and deal damage to towers. Large minions nearby also gain a bunch of armor and MR and deal, I'm going to guess 200% increase is triple damage to towers. So by the way, I'm going to guess this might stack additively. I'm not sure. Because I don't know how the numbers actually work exactly. I didn't look it up. Hullbreaker plus Baron is going to be some really absurd stuff. But also it's Hullbreaker plus Baron. This is kind of your entire thing. Okay, so let's talk about this item. It's going to look pretty good. Yeah, 2,800 indeed. There's armor low. There's armor high. Okay, so as a base item, it is in fact efficient. Of attack damage, health, and health regen. Now, health regen, some people believe is overpriced, so it's somewhere between 91 and 107% gold efficient. Up to you to decide what you want to think about this one, but keep in mind it does not build out of rejuve beads in any way, so you can't like do the early rejuve bead start and then turn it to Hullbreaker. That's not the case. Also want to point out, I'm a very big fan of scaling items that scale from level 9 up. Because you functionally can't buy items at level 6 anyway, so why have numbers that don't exist? Right? Like, Wit's End deals 20 damage. Never. It deals 40 damage only because you buy it from like level 7 onwards or something like that. So I'm a really, really, really big fan of any scaling item working this way. I just think they should all work this way. I know the AD carry mythics start at 10, but whatever. If this number is too high, you incentivize buying it first. Like, imagine it started at 13. I get the level 13 value when I buy it at level 8 or 9, and that feels kind of scummy. So that's obviously, yeah, not what you're looking for, but level 9 is very reasonable for buying a, almost 3,000 gold item. But also it's reasonably cheap. Like 2,800 is, fairly cheap for a fighter item. So, okay. Let's talk about the rest of it though. All right. So you're getting armor and magic resist. Now it's worth pointing out that this is going to be somewhat overcounted. Because almost never are you facing Renekton and care about the MR. Or facing Nasus. I mean, okay, Nasus does a little bit of magic damage that you care about because of the E and the R, but, you're really getting only one of these two stats in a lot of these cases. So we can kind of do something here where we're going to be a bit more honest to like what the item actually does and divide by 2 because I think it's actually a more realistic situation. You're only getting one of the two. Okay, so let's be really pessimistic, okay? Let's be as pessimistic as possible on the item. At its worst, the item is just 105% gold efficient in stats. I want to be clear, that's not very good in terms of just raw stats. Now, I know we're talking about Anathema's Chains, but let's keep in mind things like Tenacity are not priced appropriately. In terms of like, here's attack damage, health, and armor to fight Renekton, there are better choices here. All the choices are better choices than this. Like buying a Gore Drinker will do more for you than buying Anathema's Chains. A Hullbreaker, I should say, against, for example, Renekton. At level 9, it is not the correct first item. Just like straight up, this is not the right call. Now, again, I'm being very, very pessimistic here, and this is not appropriate. Let's be a bit more appropriate. Okay, the health regen obviously does matter, sure, in some cases. And hey, we get to level 18, and now, oh, okay, yeah, it's, somewhere between like 130H, or even here, it's like 22% efficient? Yeah, at level 18, this item seems great. Right? In terms of like raw stats provided, yeah, this item is actually pretty solid. This feels pretty good. I'm not trying to call this item bad. I don't think it is bad. I don't think it's weak, to be clear. I'm just trying to like do some devil advocating for like this item is not as absurd as some people have said it is. Obviously, it is impossible to use gold to evaluate 20% damage to towers and minions dealing triple damage to towers, and minions getting, and by the way, it's only cannons getting armor and MR, but you can like deny cannon minions from your opponent because it'll last them very fast. But yeah, you're going to have some pretty strong pushing. So this is neat, right? Because top lane has been getting, in general, less and less play. Like it top lane and jungle were like getting lowering and lowering play rates. People weren't enjoying the role very much. They're popping off the role. And in general, top lane was having low agency winning the game. Oh yeah, my job as a top laner is to TP to the bot lane and help bot lane win. And just sack my turret. All right, now I'm against a Riven with 3 turret plates. I'm having fun, just losing my lane to Riven while my bot lane's winning the game. League of Legends. And it's a team game, I get that, right? But you know, I think it's really valuable to have an exploration to say, hey, let's let, like, this has kind of always been the thing, right? Like, it's hey, there's Rift Herald up the top side, so if I'm winning top, we can grab Herald, and then I'm winning top, so we're gonna like crash that turret and keep going. Like, we are going in and we are saying, hey, I am going to split push the top lane. Because keep in mind, like, this thing turns off with an allied champion nearby. Now this means if you're holding this item and your jungler like comes to like lane gank and you see their armor MR fall off, you know the jungler's there. Hey, there's a map hack going on. Sorry, that's just how this game's going to work. But I am a huge fan of this idea of this item that's like, look, if you group, this item is trash. If you group, you get this item in a team fight. This item is trash in a team fight. This right here is absolute garbage. You would never buy this. So if you were planning on team fighting, and let's be clear, your stats matter the most when team fighting. It's why people buy Sterix Gauge, because that item sucks in a 1v1, but is outstanding in a team fight. Like, this is negative Sterix Gauge. You could make the argument that I always buy Hullbreaker and Sterix Gauge, because at least one of them is going to be good at all times, but that means you have no idea how you want to play the game, and you're probably trolling. You are almost never Hullbreaker plus Sterix. You're going to buy one or the other, and hey, are you a Sterix fighter, or are you a Hullbreaker fighter? If you're a Hullbreaker fighter, you're freaking silencing the entire game. You're going to have a ton of bonus stats, and you're going to wreck some towers with your lanes, and hey, you get a decent amount of armor MR to defend yourself. Feels pretty good. So this item seems pretty sweet. You know, we'll see how strong top lane split push is, but I think it's really neat, and I'm glad it's in the game.